Welcome back. Now let's discuss security matters. Nigeria's military operations and the fight against insurgency has received a major boost with the arrival of the first batch of Nigeria Air Force's A-29 Super Tucano aircrafts. The Nigerian Air Force had actually suffered casualty in the last 6 months, losing at least 4 of its aircraft and several personnel, including the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru. The most recent is the Alpha Jet lost to bandits in Zamfara State last week, although no life was lost in that incident. Now, with the arrival of the first batch of the Super Tucano fighter jets, the expectation is that the Nigerian Armed Forces can now recover some lost grounds. Joining me now to discuss the significance of this is retired Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, who is the former Deputy Head of Security at the African Union AU. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Help us to make sense of how significant this aircraft that Nigeria has just acquired now. How significant is it? And what difference do you think it will make in the fight against insurgency and banditry?
Thank you very much. The things that normally lead to success in any military operation, of course, you have personnel numbers, you have equipment, you have training, and you have government support. So when you look at equipment, buying 12 Super Tucanos for the Nigerian Air Force redounds to that area of equipment, which all stakeholders, all observers have agreed that the Nigerian Air Forces in general, maybe you could say even all the security forces, they are short in numbers of equipment required. What we have been having, and again here we have to commend the Nigerian Armed Forces, is all the services and all the security agencies, they are using what they have as opposed to what they need. So the federal government trying to raise the numbers of platforms that the Nigerian Air Force has is something to be celebrated, especially bringing an aircraft that is battle tested, an aircraft that have fought in similar unconventional warfare, irregular warfare, and counterinsurgencies in places like Pakistan, Colombia, and other places. I think it's something to be celebrated. What is the first about the Super Tucano? Military aircraft are designed for different purposes. There's an aircraft for air-to-air combat, that is to go up and fight another aircraft. There's an aircraft for transporting troops. There's an aircraft that will shoot from the air to the ground, air-to-ground fighter. You have close air support, and you have an aircraft that is designed for counterinsurgency and other irregular warfare. The Tucano is one of the few aircraft in the world that is right from design. It was made for counterinsurgency and irregular warfare. While it is important to understand this, I always give the example of a housewife. A housewife that is lucky to have a well-endowed husband. If you go to her kitchen, you will see a set of knives. There's the one for cutting, there's the one for slashing, and so on and so forth. Whereas a woman that is not that endowed, she will use one knife to do everything. Yes, so to some extent, what the Nigerian Air Force and the Armed Forces have been doing is to be using that one knife to cut everything. We never had an aircraft that is designed for counterinsurgency or irregular warfare until now, the arrival of this Super Tucano. So that's what I want people to put at the back of their minds. Because some people ask, what is it that the other aircraft, what is it Tucano that can do that the other aircraft cannot do? Before the coming of the Tucano, the aircraft that the Air Force is using is either the Chinese F-7 or the Alpha Jet. Now, none of these aircraft is ideally suited for the kind of fight they are fighting. But like that housewife with one knife, they are using the one knife to cut whatever comes. So we expect to see an improvement in the performance because this is what is needed. And not only as a security analyst, again, one other thing we have to compact is that even the Alpha Jets, which has served us very well, I have to say the Alpha Jet is a good buy. We bought this aircraft in the late 80s. Till now, it has been serving us very well. One of the best buys ever by the Nigerian Air Force. However, it is past its days. We bought the Alpha Jets from Germany. As far back as 1992, Germany stopped producing this aircraft. So
as
much
far
so
back
that now,
as 1992.
if you want any part, 1992, they have stopped production. So that is to say, with your money, I can assure you with your money now, you will not find any spare parts for the Alpha jets to buy. So again, we have to, complement the Nigerian Air Force, not being an Air Force from an advanced country or technology difference, through some innovation, sometimes with local stakeholders like Innoson. Sometimes it is Innoson that fabricates some of the parts that you put in the Alpha jets. So you see, whether we like it or not, the Alpha jets are coming to their last days. So the bringing of the Super Tucanos, and again, let me talk on the Super Tucanos again. All the aircraft the Air Force was using, there's what is called endurance. When we say endurance, that is how long, how many hours, or how many minutes an aircraft can stay afloat after taking fuel. All the aircraft we have that the Air Force is using, there is no aircraft that can fly for 5 hours continuously.
Oh, really?
This Tucano has an endurance of 6 hours, 30 minutes. It's a great improvement. None of the aircraft we have has the range, that is the distance it can cover. The Tucano can cover 1,900 kilometers. That means from any point in this Nigeria where you decide to base the Tucano, it can reach another end of Nigeria within a short time and stay afloat with 6.5 hours. Even if it moves from Kayenji, it means by the time it arrives Maiduguri, you can have about 3 hours of action time before he needs fuel. We never had that before.
But one of the problems too now, I just hope, because maintenance, of course, will be very key. There's no question at all that the issue of maintenance was also factored into the contract. But, when all of that, with time, say maybe in 10 years' time, do you think we'd still be able to maintain this aircraft and keep them in good shape the way we have done with the Alpha Jet?
A very good question. A very good question. We put at the back of our minds that much as I would like it to be otherwise, Nigeria is not a technologically based country. So, but this contract, as you rightly pointed out, I think it includes either 1 or 3 years maintenance aspect of it. And again, I want people to know that, because when you're calculating, when people see that Nigeria has paid 420-something million for 12 aircraft, and then you divide the number and you say one aircraft is this, it is wrong. Because in this contract, there's maintenance, there are spare parts, I think for 3 years. However, no matter how long that maintenance contract is, eventually the maintenance of that aircraft will be given to Nigerians and Nigerian Air Force personnel. Sure. So definitely, the way you maintain your aircraft, the place where you keep them, if you leave an aircraft out in the sun, in the rain, it has implications for the frame of the aircraft. The body will become weak. If you don't change parts that are supposed to be changed, if you don't change oil when it's supposed to be changed, definitely you are not going to get this. But I hope, like you said, I hope the Tucanos will serve as long as the Alpha Jets did. But you have to put in maintenance. Our technicians, the Air Force technicians, the Air Force engineers must make sure they do all that is required. These books the aircraft come with booklets, what they call manuals. They will tell you when to change, what to change, how many hours. Please, I hope they will follow this thing to ensure we get value for every naira that we spend on those aircraft. Finally,
just before I let you go, in total, we're expecting 12 aircraft. We've just received 6, so 6 more being expected. After that 12, would you expect that going forward that we acquire more? Not just probably not Super Tucano, but maybe some other aircraft, because. Truth is that you look at the fleet that the Nigerian Air Force has at the moment. I mean, you are part of the Air Force. Quite a number of our aircraft are actually outdated and should actually not be flying.
I will agree with outdated in that there are aircraft, some manufactured in the 60s or 70s. I can agree with outdated, but not able to fly is a different matter. An aircraft that is well maintained, there's an aircraft that can serve you for 50 years. That is the reality. It's a function of how you maintain them. But certainly you are right about numbers. Despite the coming of the Tucanos, you see the gap that the Nigerian Armed Forces are having, whether it is Army or Navy Air Force, is a gap that built over many years. So definitely the Tucanos is not to say that Hosanna will have arrived. Definitely more and more this thing. If I am to advise the government of Nigeria, looking at what the Air Force needs, I would look into acquiring more and more helicopters. If you look at our reaction time is a function of the fact that we cannot reach the area of battle quickly. But Nigeria should be able to have at least 10 aircraft in any of the geographical zones, so that when there is anything you move. So we hope the government will continue buying, even the government after this. What the Boko Haram incident has showed us that you do not wait until war comes, then you start acquisition, because it is too late. True. That is what we are suffering now. We are acquiring while we are fighting. It is not easy, because in any case in the international market, it took us many years to even convince the Americans with our money to sell the aircraft for us. So that is to say, you should be servicing your war machine before the machine comes. Year in, year out. A sizable budget. Of course, you need budget for education, for health, and the rest. But a sizable budget should always be there for servicing the the military, to make sure that when you call them, they are ready. The reality is that this war on Boko Haram made our armed forces unprepared in terms of equipment. And we hope, yes.
Well, retired Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, the former Deputy Head of Security at the African Union, thank you very much for joining us on the program. And thank you very much for such a fantastic contribution now to the program. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's how much we can take on the program this week. We thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. But if you want to get more on this program, all you need to do is go to our website, DEJI360 Nigeria. You'll find this program and lots more there. You can also follow us on our various social media platforms, of course, and you'll definitely get more there. Thank you very much for watching once again. Bye-bye.